first thing I want to talk about is the 6 justifications that men have for maintaining their privilege. So one really effective justification is just to simply throw your hands up in the air and say, look, I don't understand, what's the issue? You know, you're making something big out of nothing. I get on with everyone. I don't see that there's particular issues in my life. You know, you may have your own personal issues, but most of the women I know they get on with fine. You know, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So you just really throw it back to the other person and just pretend you have no idea, that you're ignorant of what's going on. The second justification that men can use, you know, particularly if they undertake decisions that may be detrimental or harmful to women, say in a workplace or particularly in a workplace. One technique is for a man to say, look, you know, I empathise, I understand, but look, the decision's just out of my control. It's out of my hands. You know, it was just given to me from above, and I just have to carry out what I've been told from above. What men who do this tend not to include in that explanation is the fact that they had actually met with the person above prior to this explanation, and the two of them had worked out that this would probably be the best way to go, that there would be a directive from above. So they use the formal power structures to justify privilege, denying that there's actually any informal power collusion going on between men. The third justification for maintaining privilege, I think, is a tried, tested, true technique, and that's just to say, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I treat everyone just as a person. I don't see race, I don't see sex, I don't see sexuality. I just treat everyone as a person. You know, whoever I meet, I shake their hand. I'm just not that sort of person. I'm very warm and charming to everyone. What's interesting is if you speak to people of those categories that the man just spoke about, you know, speak to women perhaps in junior positions, or you speak to people from non-English speaking backgrounds, they may actually have quite a different story to tell about how that man relates to them. So this idea of not discriminating is a very effective way to mask the fact that most of our daily interactions involve some sort of at least semi-conscious discrimination. Next justification to speak about is perhaps best summed up in terms of what we would call the merit principle. And so that is for someone who's, you know, developed a position of some authority, some superiority, some seniority in an organisation, to say that they have got there simply through their own hard work, through their own merit. And they will tell you many stories of the extensive business lunches that they've gone through in order to develop connections and to make their way to the top. Therefore, they don't see it as privilege. They see it as just rewards for, you know, and earned entitlements, actually. Whereas we do know that for many, perhaps most men in Australian society, there are an enormous number of unearned privileges that we enjoy, that just by having been born male. This particular justification works very well in workplaces that are strongly committed to the idea of a merit principle, and that people will be rewarded for hard work. A fifth justification can be seen by referring to the need for strong leadership. So the man would say, look, I'm not someone that is particularly nasty or controlling, but I am a very decisive, strong leader. And all workplaces, all organisations need strong leadership in order to achieve their goals and to maintain order and control. And so many men believe strongly that demonstrating some sort of decisive, strong leadership, whether that involves some perhaps dismissive approaches towards women's concerns, they wouldn't see it as being dismissive, but simply, you know, setting a strong, clear tone in terms of leadership. This also clearly is very problematic, but it's a strong cultural norm within many organisations. A sixth, and just for the moment final justification, is to make sure that you are careful about your language and the things that you actually say rather than things that you think when you're with women. So when you're with your mates, perhaps, or in small meetings with male friends or drinking with them, you may have one particular view that you espouse and that you say, but you really hold your tongue and you make it clear that you're a fairly reasonable person when there are women present. And sometimes men will even help each other out, kick the other guy under the table and say, remember there's ladies present, don't use that sorts of language. So it's a sort of a two-faced or hypocritical approach to this issue of gender issues. But it's an effective way to justify and maintain privilege.